Welcome back to another one of my Red Dead Redemption 2 videos. Today we're going to be taking a look at some more mysteries scattered around the world of the game. And of course there is no shortage of mysteries here in the game just yet. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the newest ones that people have found and have been discussing. Some of them might be old ones you know about, but there's actually new info or new leads on them. So if you end up learning something new today or enjoying the video at all, a like and a subscribe are always appreciated, as it only does take a second out of your day to make mine. But with that said, let's get right into it. The first one we're going to take a look at are the skulls that we've seemingly completely dismissed this whole time, and a user over on the Red Dead Mysteries subreddit actually brought this to light. We've never actually taken a second to take a look at these skulls until now. Plenty of people have seen these sort of arranged skulls hanging around, but what we haven't realized is that, well, some of these skulls are clearly not human. They seem to be some sort of like a skull belonging to a primate. At first people thought, well, this must be a skull of a chimpanzee because it looks pretty similar, but upon closer inspection we can actually see that the skulls are just as big, if not bigger, than the human skulls. Some people said that if this was a chimpanzee skull, then they'd be some freakishly large ones that we don't see in real life. Now, obviously, it could be something like a primate, but even if we somehow pretend that there's gorillas in the world of Red Dead Redemption 2 running around, well, the skulls of gorillas don't match up with the skulls here. A few people said that it must be a bear, so then I thought, okay, I could see that, and then decided to look up the skulls of bears, and it just doesn't match up at all. The bear skull is just too elongated, and the skull here in the game just doesn't seem to be depicting any animal in the game. The skull looks too humanoid. It's almost as if there were humans that looked like this. The head just looks too similar to the shape of a human skull, and it must belong to something else. I want to say that these skulls belong to the creature known as Bigfoot. Now, obviously, there's more variations of the Bigfoot, such as the Yeti or the Skunk Ape, so it could be either one of those, but I really think that the skulls here in the game don't belong to any animal. Otherwise, it wouldn't seem to be human-like as it does. If these skulls actually belong to Bigfoots, then wow, we've uncovered a gigantic mystery that was literally right under our noses while playing. Again, there's no particular location for these skulls. They're literally everywhere around the world of the game, and this particular image was taken in the Lemoyne area. The next one is actually going to be an update on the Pagan rituals site that we found in the game. People managed to figure out that if you come back to the ritual site a few days later, that you'd actually find a body lying on the site. We've been trying all sorts of things recently and can't seem to get anywhere else with it. We can't get more bodies to show up, but what we have noticed is that the symbols that people have been finding on trees might be related to the Pagan ritual site. In fact, one of the symbols in particular is actually the same exact symbol used on one of the rocks in the Pagan ritual site. You can see a goat's head sitting right above that rock, and it makes you think whoever made the site had clearly wanted to sacrifice a goat here, and they did. But what happens if you sacrifice a goat by the tree with the symbol on it? I've actually done it myself, but nothing seemed to happen. Maybe we need to sacrifice goats at every location with a symbol on a tree, and there are tons of these trees with the symbols on them. Unfortunately, I haven't done that since I don't know every location for every tree with markings etched onto them, but it could be a possibility that maybe these trees have some sort of a correlation to the Pagan ritual site, and that maybe we have to sacrifice goats near these symbols on these trees or something. I'm not really sure. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. If you want to go check it out for yourself, if you know all the locations for the trees with the markings on them, go ahead and try to sacrifice goats next to them, I guess. You know, there's all sorts of stuff we could try around these markings. I'm really not sure what they might have to do with the Pagan ritual site, but other than that, we're going to move on to the next one here, and that's going to be the Obelisk that was found in the game quite a long time ago. Unfortunately, we never really got anywhere with it, but recently people have been talking about it and what its purpose might be beyond it just being an interesting thing you can find in the game. Obelisks are associated with teleportation in Egyptian culture, and the one here looks pretty similar to an Egyptian obelisk. The obelisk itself is actually pretty close to the Pagan ritual site as well. In fact, it's only just a few steps away from it. maybe this has something to do with the ritual site. Obviously, the thought that we're all having here is, well, maybe if the obelisk reminds us of Egyptian ones, well, then maybe we could use this to teleport somewhere if we activated something. Perhaps we need to finish the pagan ritual, sacrifice all the goats of the trees or something, and then come back here to the obelisk and teleport somewhere. Now, this is obviously a little bit of a reach, but it makes sense, right? I mean, if the obelisk is disconnected from the ritual site and just happens to be a few feet away from it, then what are the other theories that we could come up for this obelisk here? What else do you think that we might have to do to actually activate the obelisk and get it to do something interesting? Obviously, again, it could just be a random thing that they decided to add into the game, but a part of me keeps saying that there has to be something here that we aren't seeing, and I think that maybe, just maybe, it might have something more to it. So who knows, maybe we could end up teleporting somewhere in another area with another obelisk. Just a thought. The next mystery is actually of an Easter egg that we've all probably known about at this point, and that's the Exorcist Girl sitting in a shack outside of the Braithwaite Manor. She's sitting in what seems to be an outhouse that's chained up to keep her inside. She is clearly insane and just mutters to herself a lot, but maybe her muttering actually has some significance. After all, we don't know if she's truly just insane or is actually possessed by an entity. If she is possessed, then it could be possible that the words she's muttering to herself actually have significance. If you listen long enough, you can actually hear her recite some numbers in a sequence. The numbers aren't random. She actually ends up repeating those numbers back over again. What significance might these numbers have? I'm not really sure what we could take away from this, but it's just something that we noticed recently, and who knows, maybe we'll need to write these numbers down for something for the future. Maybe a DLC in the future is going to require a certain order of numbers to unlock something, and we might need these numbers that she's saying right here. So I'm not sure. It's just really interesting to see that she's saying the same numbers over and over again in a particular sequence, and they're not random. They just seem to be in a specific order. So who knows, maybe this actually has some significance here.
1, 2, 3, 7, 6, 3, 5, 11, 1, 2, 10.
Speaking of numbers, the next one is one that you might all know about, but I thought was worthy of inclusion here in today's video. It's something you can find at the Aberdeen pig farm. Remember that couple that invites you in and drugs you? Well, you can actually go upstairs and remove a conspicuous board revealing a box under it. In that box, you can actually see the numbers 75 etched out onto these little cubes in the box. And if you actually go into the tracking mode, well, you'll see that there's clearly something important about these cubes here in the box, and they might have some sort of a use, but as of lately, we don't know anything about them. You can't pick them up, so maybe we have to bring something back to the box. I don't know, but it's just yet another mystery here in Red Dead Redemption 2. The next one relates to the aged pirate rum around the map. People have pointed out that there's a pretty rare item you can find around the world of the game, and it only shows up in really unique locations, and that is obviously the pirate rum here. And it actually shows up at some of the Easter egg areas as well, so the UFO shack, it shows up there. So it turns out that the pirate rum is actually a lot stronger than the rest of the liquor in the game, and apparently some people have gotten certain dialogue from Arthur when they got drunk with the pirate rum that they've never been able to replicate with other liquors. Obviously, it makes us think that the liquor might have some special powers or something that could actually be used at specific times to reveal special things. After all, the pirate rum is definitely a special item, and you can only find several bottles of it around the world of the game, and who knows, it could be used to reveal new dialogue, or it could be used to see things that we haven't seen before. And for the final mystery for today, it's no secret that Arthur can actually get to New Austin using a glitch, but people actually found unique dialogue in certain areas of the game. This dialogue basically proves that Arthur was actually meant to go to New Austin at some point in the development of the game, but Rockstar actually decided to scrap that and they never made it a reality. That, or it's new evidence that Arthur is going to be a protagonist in a future DLC that might let us go down to New Austin with him. So there's a lot to think about here. Obviously, new dialogue is always important to look at because, I mean, obviously, again, it could have either been something they wanted to do in the past, or it could be something relating to a DLC in the future. And for me personally, I think that Arthur is definitely going to be a protagonist if we get an Undead Nightmare DLC or something along the lines of that, you know, who knows? I'd love to see Arthur back as a character that we can play again. But other than that, let me know down in the comment section below what you think about all of this. Do you have any insight into any of these mysteries, or do you have any new mysteries to mention down in the comment section below? Just let us all know. And that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and subscribe, because it only does take a second out of your day to make mine. But with that out of the way, have a wonderful day and see you in the next one.